Hey y'all, it's Bennett, and welcome to my first ever video game collection tour video. What you're looking at now is my glass case that I got from GameStop. And if I have a separate video on this, giving you all the details of what's in there and where I got it. But yeah, those are my big kind of heavy hitters, and now we're moving on to, we're just going fast here, to my gaming setup in here, which has my original Xbox, my actual original Super Nintendo, got Dreamcast, PS2, a Wii in there, an Xbox 360, which is what's playing NCAA 09. Now we see, let's see, there's a Atomic Purple Edition N64 box set. And there we have Nintendo, Sega Saturn, those work. Retron 5, which I'm not using much these days. PS3, a modded original Xbox, which doesn't work yet. And my little computer speakers. And now, this is my spinny roundy thing that I got at a yard sale. I don't know, $20 or something for this nice four-sided spinning bookshelf. And so keep PS1 and we saw some the GameBoy Advance and the boxed games there. There are some thing hands sitting on top of a question block that I got at GameStop, or rather should I say around the back of the GameStop. When they're getting rid of it, they had put it in a thing and I dove in and got it. Yep. Anyway, so free question block. Yeah, so here we have a DS and 3DS games. That stack on the right are ones that I need the actual game for, but I have the cases, so yeah. Here's some Xbox One and PS4 on this shelf. All of these are, of course, from thrifting and that sort of thing, and almost nothing was purchased brand new in the store, but Xbox One particularly is something I don't go out of my way to buy physical copies for, because much as I like physical media, that it's not the most useful thing to have with Xbox One, because there's Game Pass, and also I kind of share a profile with a friend who, you know, mine is his home console and his is mine, so if we have digital games, we can, you know, whenever I get a digital game, he can play it and vice versa. So it doesn't work if you use just the discs. So there you go. There go my Sega Master System games. Got almost all of those, all but like one, at a thrift store one time when a friend called me while I was on the treadmill at the gym at work, and I immediately leapt off the treadmill to go to the thrift store where he was telling me there was a Sega Master System and collection of games. And so I bailed on work and everything to go get it. Go figure. Here we have my boxed N64 and Super Nintendo collections. Down at the bottom were my loose carts for those two systems. And let's see, next we'll move on to my loose Nintendo carts. You'll probably see some of your favorites along the way. And that little baggie has manuals that are awaiting a home, or a cartridge, I guess, to go with. Let's see. Got one of the Wisdom Tree, I think that's Bible Adventures, that blue cart that just went by. And then up at the top, well, that's my Boy Scout Pinewood Derby car. You know what it's called? Pinewood Derby? That I made with my grandfather when I was a little kid, so that is meaningful to me. And there's my Super Nintendo games in a, you know, vintage display there. Hey, there's a Yoshi we got at the Japanese store in Disney World in Epcot. Here's my Switch games, as you can see. And that NES controller is an original one. It still has its original like tape on the cord, so that's something, I guess. Here's some overflow boxed Super Nintendo and Nintendo stuff. Overflow is always a problem, of course, as it is with every person's collection, I guess. Yeah, lots of great Nintendo boxed games. I love getting boxed NES and Super NES games, just the best. There's my Sega Nomad that I got at a yard sale, one of my favorite yard sale pickups ever, and it works. I don't have a working Genesis, but I do have a Nomad that works. And there's my Wii U collection. Maybe one of these days I'll be able to get the whole Wii U collection because it's relatively attainable, but for now I got a decent start. And let's take a look at the top of my shelves. A lot of cool stuff there. We got the NECA figures for the 8-bit Freddy and 8-bit Jason. Kind of a Master Chief helmet. Everybody's got to have a Master Chief helmet. Couple of boxed PlayStation 2 controllers that I found at thrift stores. Atari 5200, the same friend told me about, was at a Goodwill, and I ran out in the middle of the day to purchase. So thanks, Sandy. Yep. Here's the rest of my boxed NES games. The artwork and even just the spine labels are so good. They just make me smile. There's nothing better to me. And here's a couple of Worlds of Power books that I found at thrift stores. My boxed NES that I got at the beach recently, and there's a Mario I got from a claw machine at the bowling alley. Got a boxed complete Wii there. Here's my PS3 collection. In a lot of my collections, you'll see there's kind of a divide. They're in alphabetical order, and then they start over again in alphabetical order again. And the divide there, as you can see, these are the games that I've already tested or played or whatever, and then I put those out A to Z, and then when I hit the ones that I haven't gotten around to play yet, I start those over with A to Z again. So there's Soul Calibur 5, is that what that is? There's my couple of PlayStation long boxes. Don't run across those very often. Here's a lot of PlayStation 2 games that I haven't played yet. There's just a lot of PlayStation 2 games. And only so much time in the day. And of course, space being what it is, I have to stack games on top of the rows of games, and I don't like doing that, but it is what it is. You gotta do it if you want to cram them all in there. All right, and now, what's this? Okay, yeah, we're almost at the top shelf here, where we'll get to the ones that I've actually played. Yep, you can see a lot of the must-haves, a lot of the popular ones. Here we are in the Xbox country. Got Call of Cthulhu that just went by there. That was the game that actually made me want to buy an Xbox in the first place, like before they were coming out. I saw in a magazine that it was coming, and I was a big fan of H.P. Lovecraft, still am. Not of the person, but of the works. And so when I saw a Call of Cthulhu game was coming to a system, I immediately knew I had to have it. And then I got my system, and there's a whole big story about that I'll tell you sometime. And I didn't wind up getting Call of Cthulhu till a couple of years ago, so just never never got to it. I guess, I got Halo to start with, and that distracted me quite a bit. And it was on from there. Yep. All sorts of Xbox games. Again, all these are from thrift stores, yard sales, BOGO sales at GameStop, and that sort of thing. Trying to get as complete or as, good a collection for as little money as I can actually output. And, yep, as you can see, we are overfull on Xbox 360 games as well. But that's okay. There's my stupid GameStop box version of Ghostbusters the game. I really enjoyed playing Ghostbusters the game on the 360, and I think I have it on every platform because I'm a big Ghostbusters fan. But for some reason, the one that I had first and have played all the way through, the 360 one I have in a generic case. So one of these days I'll get a real copy of it. That Operation Darkness I picked up for I think like $15 at GameStop, and it has randomly turned into one of the most expensive, valuable games in my 360 collection. So who knew? I mean, I sort of guessed, but I can't remember who the company is behind that game, but it's one of those all their stuff becomes valuable. Anyway, moving on to the Wii. Again, there's a shelf of ones I've played, and then we move down to the ones I haven't gotten to yet. So many Wii games. There's The Calling. That's a Wii horror game that I was glad to be able to pick up, along with Ju-On the Grudge right there. I got those together in one purchase from Mercari. I had my wife wheeling and dealing with the person on Mercari while I was driving us back from a pool party, and I was glad to be able to pick it up. There we have all the flavors of Wii. I mean, all the regular flavors of Wii, including the Wii Mini or whatever it is, and then the 4 main colors. And there's one of those GoldenEye controllers. I guess that's the GoldenEye one. And now we move down to GameCube, which is a great console, and it's fun to collect for, even though the games are pretty expensive. But I have some really great games for GameCube, and I got a lot of them in one go at Goodwill one day, like a mother load, including Def Jam Fight for New York that just went by, and some of these other ones that are pretty expensive. Eternal Darkness is one of the few games in my whole collection that is still with me from when I purchased it in whatever year that was. So I got rid of, I guess, a lot of my games, but I kept that one, and I'm glad I did. I wish I'd kept all the other ones. Here's my box Genesis collection. Again, Ghostbusters getting a place of honor. I got that at Southeast Game Exchange a couple years ago, and played it through on my channel here. And there we go. Lots of sports games. Alright, and now, what's this? It's the Steel Battalion controller box. Footlocker doohickey. And that we will try to move that out of the way, and we'll have an Xbox 360 completed box that I got from my buddy Chase, and a PS2 that I got at a yard sale. There's my Pokemon N64 and Game Boy Color back there, and some Pokemon like Game Boy Color cases or DS cases. There's a Halo 4 360, and this is probably the most unusual thing in my collection, a PS3 NBA Elite 11 edition, which is a game that never came out. I'll have to tell you that story sometime, but yeah, don't expect to see that anywhere else. There's my Pac-Man tray and my Pac-Man light, and that is an old school Atari game case and has a Atari in it. And there's my Master System and Genesis and an Intellivision with Intellivoice. And those are the 4 Intellivision games I have. I've never put together the system or tried it out, but no reason to believe it doesn't work just the way it did back in 1978 or whatever. The boxed Atari and my boxed Genesis I got from a friend at work who took good care of his stuff. Yep, and there's my PlayStation 1 and fat PlayStation 2 and some more Atari games, including the Porky's game. Did you know there was a Porky's game? And here we have a whole bunch of these little micro arcade games. I like them, and I keep finding them at thrift stores for $2 or $3. And there's my bag of Game Gear games. And then my little drawers full of DS's and DSI's and Game Boy Advances and the various games that go along with them, and my Game Boy collection. Got some real good Game Boy games up in there. Who's that handsome fella? Here's my modest PSP collection. Again, there's your Ghostbusters game. Haven't played a whole lot of these, but I do like the PSP. It is fun to play with. There's a Japanese Ease game, that YS series. Anyway, alright. And here in the other room, got the PSVR, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, got my Wii U, there's the Xbox Series X. It's a mouthful. And here's what I play my modern games on, which is a 150-inch projector screen on the wall. Currently playing Goat Simulator 3, which is, the pinnacle of modern gaming. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye.